The Galactic Council had made its decision 3 centuries ago. Humanity would remain quarantined to their solar system, forbidden from expanding beyond the Oort cloud. The vote had been unanimous among the 47 species present. Earth's representatives had not been invited to defend themselves. Ambassador Telkara of the Vorathian Collective reviewed the ancient decree on her neural interface as she stood before the emergency session. The words glowed with bureaucratic certainty. Humanity poses an unquantifiable threat to galactic stability. Containment is the only rational course. Yet here she stood, about to do the unthinkable. The Kreshnak swarm has broken through the 7th Fleet, she announced, her scaled hands trembling. They've consumed 14 worlds in as many cycles. Our projections indicate total species extinction within the year. The council chamber erupted in panicked clicking, whistling, and electromagnetic pulses. Councillor Morpheus of the silicon-based crystallines projected calm geometric patterns. We have faced the Kreshnak before. We simply need to— We need humans, Telkara interrupted, committing career suicide with 3 words. The chamber fell silent. You cannot be serious, hissed Representative Kix, their insectoid mandibles grinding. The ban exists for good reason. Have you forgotten the Cascade Wars? The temporal incident? I forget nothing, Telkara replied.
I also cannot ignore that every major conflict in the last millennium has been resolved by human intervention, despite our best efforts to exclude them. She displayed holographic records.
The mechanical uprising of 2847 ended when a single human freighter crew talked the AI fleet into a philosophical crisis. The dimensional breach of 3156, sealed by human engineers who ignored safety protocols and survived impossible radiation. The plague of worlds in 3401, cured by human doctors who experimented on themselves. Coincidences, Kix muttered. Dangerous coincidences. 43 coincidences? Telkara challenged. We ban them, contain them, exclude them from our alliance, yet somehow they always appear at our darkest moments. And somehow they always succeed where we fail. Councillor Morpheus refracted thoughtfully. What you're describing is statistically improbable, perhaps even impossible. Exactly my point, Telkara said. So I asked our xenopsychology division to investigate what makes humans so effective. Another hologram materialized, dense with data, analysis, brain scans, cultural studies. The council leaned forward despite themselves. They call it spite, Telkara explained. A peculiar emotion where they perform extraordinary acts simply because someone said they couldn't. We told them to stay in their system. They spent 3 centuries developing technology that makes our fastest ships look primitive. They're not allowed to trade with us, so they've built an economy that rivals the entire council's combined output. This proves they're dangerous, Kix insisted. It proves they're motivated by challenge, Morpheus corrected, patterns shifting to indicate intrigue. Continue, Ambassador. Telkara pulled up more data. Humans possess what they call catastrophic bonding. When faced with extinction-level threats, they don't fragment like logical species. They unify. They become more cooperative, more creative, more reckless. Reckless, Kix repeated. You're arguing for their inclusion by highlighting their instability. I'm highlighting their adaptability, Telkara countered. Every species here evolved in relatively stable environments. We developed intelligence to optimize existing conditions. Humans evolved on a death world where the climate, predators, and even the ground itself tried to kill them daily. They developed intelligence to survive the impossible. She paused, letting that sink in. They have a saying, hold my beer. It precedes their most insane and successful endeavors. They invented space travel to spite their own gravity. They cured diseases by injecting themselves with weakened versions. They split the atom because someone said matter was indivisible. Their entire civilization is built on weaponized stubbornness. And you want to unleash this chaos on the Kreshnak? Morpheus asked. The Kreshnak are chaos, Telkara responded. A hive mind that consumes and adapts. They've defeated every logical strategy we've employed because they're not logical. We need someone equally unpredictable. The ban, Kix began. The ban is killing us. Telkara's scales flushed with emotion. 3 centuries ago, we feared what humanity might become. Now we're dying because we refuse to see what they actually are. Survivors who turn every obstacle into opportunity. Morpheus's patterns stabilized into decision mode. If we lift the quarantine, there's no guarantee they'll help. We've treated them as prisoners, not allies. Telkara smiled, showing teeth. That's the beautiful part. I contacted them yesterday, unofficially. I told them about the Kreshnak, about our projections, about our desperation. And? Kix demanded. They asked one question. Where do you need us? Then they started mobilizing. No demands for payment, no negotiations, no mention of 3 centuries of exile. Telkara's voice softened. One of their admirals sent me a message. She said, "You finally gave us a good enough challenge. We've been so bored." The council chamber filled with uncomfortable silence. Motion to temporarily suspend the quarantine, Morpheus announced. Emergency powers, direct intervention protocol. Seconded, another voice called. Wait, Kix pleaded. Once we open that door, what's to stop them from what? Morpheus interrupted. Conquering us? They could have done that decades ago with the technology they've developed. Destroying us? They've sent aid during every natural disaster that's reached their sensors. The truth is, we've never been their enemy, only their obstacle. The vote passed with a narrow majority. 3 days later, the human fleet arrived at the Kreshnak front lines. They didn't deploy standard tactics or conventional weapons. Instead, they broadcast music, something called heavy metal, and challenged the hive mind to personal combat through increasingly absurd provocations. The Kreshnak, confused by prey that actively sought confrontation, made a fatal mistake. They engaged emotionally instead of strategically. Humanity had turned warfare into performance art, and they were winning. Watching from her command ship, Telkara received another message from the human admiral. Thanks for the invitation. Turns out we're really good at being told we can't do something. You should try it more often. The ambassador laughed despite herself. Perhaps the council had been asking the wrong question all along. The issue wasn't why every war ended with humans involved. It was why they'd ever thought they could face the universe without them.